audience. Sorry, you just caught me thinking. It has been over a year. There is a lot to talk about. You know what? Frick it. This is my review of Tiana's Bayou adventure. But first, roll the intro! Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Talk about a controversial attraction. Ever since it was announced, this ride has been the topic of stupid debate after stupid debate. And you can probably guess what side I'm gonna fall into, can't you? Yes, in my opinion, this ride is freaking excellent and a massive upgrade from what came before. Not only due to its respect for the source material, but by making a wonderful experience in its own right that utilizes an amazing mix of technology and ambiance to make things pop in the best way possible. This ride deserves a lot more respect than it's gotten, and thus, I'll be doing my part to grant it some of that respect today. But Tendo, I hear you ask, didn't you already cover this on someone else's channel? And technically yes, but that was more of a first impressions video. This is me going in more in depth with a proper review. But before we get into that, let's get into the history, shall we? For many years, there was a little ride called Splash Mountain. A rather fun and charming little water ride with a rather dark history. Maybe because its source material was a little film called Song of the South! Easily the most controversial film Disney has ever put out. While the film's issues in many areas are seen as overblown due to people not knowing how dates work, the film's post-abolition, the accusations of showing happy slaves are not accurate, the film still has a lot of problems, especially given its source material, the Uncle Remus stories. A series of tales collected by one white dude from a bunch of different storytellers with their own histories and connections to their culture the stories are sourced from. Only to water them all down to one offensive figurehead designed to erase them and replace them with a caricature. The idea that this book still has connection to modern day Disney is ludicrous, and anyone angry that its influence is gone has no sense of context or respect for people of color beyond the abstract concept of them as opposed to them as individual people. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, as the culture shifted, Disney realized they need to make this change sooner rather than later. Many claim the ride was rushed into production in the wake of the 2020 George Floyd protests, but I don't buy it. This was clearly something planned in advance that was already being worked on behind the scenes. They decided to announce early due to fan demand in the wake of that incident. I mean, they already had this much concept art available? I don't buy they got all of this together in such a short amount of time. But as a result, this thing took a long while to get together. A full 4 years! That's nuts! Yeah, I know Disney is infamous in terms of how long they take to construct projects, but that's usually for rides that require entirely new infrastructure, not re-themes like this. But what about the actual development? How did that go? Actually, pretty decently for the most part. Despite Chuds Online complaining about the project, it clearly had a lot of backing, including displays of the most advanced modern animatronic technology, and the involvement of the voice actors from the film, plus the real-life people who inspired said film. This had a lot of heart behind it as a project, and the development shows that in a major way. Eventually, though, it found its opening day in Florida on June 28th, 2024, and in California on November 15th of the same year. And it's been hated by idiots ever since. So, let's give it some love. This is my review of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. The experience begins as we enter the main building, which is immaculately decorated throughout to tell Tiana's backstory, as well as the new details that have occurred between the events of the film and the events of this ride. Yeah, it's actually a sequel to the film as opposed to a retelling, which pissed people off for some reason. But then again, people are also pissed off at recap rides too, so
pick a lane, fandom. Please.
Anyway, it seems that things have escalated a bit since the opening of Tiana's palace, as she expanded into a new company called Tiana's Foods, a ready-to-eat meal service for the masses to enjoy.
Oh, so when Tiana does it, good on her, but when it's done with gusto, it's a crime against the culinary arts. Double standards, man. What can I say?
Anyway, all that's left to establish is that Mardi Gras is on its way, and Tiana's throwing a big party to celebrate, which allows us to finally climb aboard the log.
Do I really need to go into the ride system? I mean, it's a log flume. Who hasn't been in a log flume? Fine. Let's just do this quick.
This is a pretty basic log flume system where log-shaped ride vehicles with indented seats within act as vessels to ride through the long trough of water that makes up this ride track. While Splash Mountain infamously had a defect in its original log designs that caused them to repel water, making it one of the drier log flumes around, they certainly fixed that aspect for Tiana, allowing it to be the proper soaker it was meant to be.
And with that, let's hop on board and go rolling down the bayou. Or would it be floating down the bayou? Let's just ride this thing.
As we ride on out to the tune of Down in New Orleans from the film, we ride up the first two lift hills, a certain portent of doom making itself known as we travel between them.
No matter how good the ride is, we all know that fall is coming.
On the second of the two lift hills, we encounter Tiana for the first time in the form of a rather impressive animatronic, establishing that she's trying to find a band for her Mardi Gras celebration and is looking for animal performers in the bayou at the behest of Louis the alligator.
Glad to see you're hiring non-human workers to help out. I swear, it is surprisingly hard to find a job as a non-homo sapien these days. Frickin' species, I swear.
We sail past some farmland for Tiana's Foods as Almost There starts playing, much to my delight, before dropping right down into the bayou with the first of this ride's 3 drops.
And behold, decadence.
Not only does the soundtrack transition into rolling down the bayou perfectly, but this quickly gets into a rather controversial element that I freaking love. There's been a ton of debate among theme park fans about the usage of screens in dark rides, with many people against it, and admittedly, not for unfounded reasons. We've seen plenty of slow-paced dark rides that use them for visuals without trying to properly blend them into an environment, making for a rather awkward immersion-destroying result. But here, not only are the screens blended into the physical space, with the exception of one scene, they're used as backdrops for physical figures or set dressing, used to give depth to an environment and make it feel like there's so much more to see beyond what the physical design makes possible. The usage of screens in this ride is freaking breathtaking, and I genuinely hope more rides in the future use them in a similar fashion to this.
But no, there's no place for expansion of concepts or utilizing the technology for new ideas. No, of course not. As we all know, screens are the devil and have no place in theme park design. Come on. That's just hard science right there.
As we pass through the first area, the atmosphere is absolutely electrifying. Passing by multiple bands of animatronic animals just jamming away their music to their heart's content.
So, is this just a New Orleans Bayou thing, or do all animals in this world play music befitting of the local culture? What, if we go to Britain, are we going to hear badgers playing British rock and ska? Actually, frick, I would actually find that pretty cool.
Eventually, though, Tiana thinks that we might benefit from looking into smaller performances, getting Mama Odie to use the next to the ride's drops to shrink us down small.
Okay, between this event, this place, what used to be this place, and so many more things that have appeared in this resort, how many shrinkers it got in this place anyhow? Yo! I knew it! But I'm not finishing this bit.
After the shrinking down drop, the musical jive continues as we pass by some of the most colorful and charming animatronics in the ride, including this chunky frog on the drums and this other frog creatively using a flower as a trombone.
Unfortunately, this sequence does lead to one unfortunate aspect. Damn you, Disney!
Look, I'm not usually one to be annoyed with the lack of 2D animation over CGI in the modern day like many others. I watch movies from outside the US. I'm good. But maybe, just maybe, they'd realize it might be a bad look to portray characters from one of the last 2D animated Disney films in 3D CGI. This really feels like a slap in the face to fans of Disney's cinematic 2D animation, who have been starving for content for years now. Trust me, I get it. They wanted this animation looking similar to the 3D animatronic figures, and they needed it large to display the size change. But wasn't there any other way to do it than this?
Low blow, Disney! Real low blow!
Anyway, eventually we approach the final lift hill, with Dig a Little Deeper playing as we prepare for the drop. And yeah, I know, a lot of people were hoping Friends on the Other Side would play here, as it was perfectly set up to build up the fear factor for the drop, but I think this works too. It's very clear they're not going for something threatening, but instead bombastic and fun, which I think is just as valid an approach. And the way they handle it here in this regard gets that across beautifully. Anyway, drop it!
Still as good as ever. Anyway, how do we conclude this adventure?
We sail back into the show building, seeing Tiana's Mardi Gras celebration in full force, bombastically debuting this ride's original track, Special Spice. A very beautiful little piece about the importance of inclusion, celebration, and just enjoying life.
But apparently, some people are against those themes and ideals. I don't like those people.
This song is great! Truly an instant Disneyland classic for me. If only they used it more. Sadly, due to its nature as just being put in for the ride's finale, it doesn't get as much of a moment to shine as it needed.
But hey, if my problem is that I wanted more, that's probably a good problem to have.
With that though, we get one last little word from the magnanimous Mama Odie before returning to the station to make our exit. Right next to the gift shop, selling easily the best chocolate bar I've ever had. Oh my god!
So, that was Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and I love it.
Yes, the ride is a lot more playful and less threatening, but I think that's to its benefit. It turns this thrill ride into a fricking party ride, which I think has value in its own right and makes this truly a wonderful experience.
But it replaced Splash Mountain. This is better.
Yes, straight up, no denying it, no hyperbole, this is better. And not just due to the change in source material or the upgraded technology. No, what makes this better by default to me is the fact that it takes better advantage of its medium. Splash Mountain was very much a third-person narrative, with us just observing its very basic story as we go by, with no actual acknowledgement of the audience's presence in the moment.
And that's not utilizing this medium to its full potential, at least in my opinion.
If you're not going to make the ride a first or second person narrative, then why bother with all-encompassing immersion? Your existence in the narrative in the ride vehicle only then acts as a distraction, a basic conveyance method from scene to scene, as opposed to something part of the experience. By including us as the party goers helping Tiana and her friends search for musicians, it makes it so that you as the rider have a place in this attraction's narrative. You are not something taking away from the story by being a pointless background add-on. You are part of the experience. And to me, that alone makes this ride an insane upgrade.
The rest of it's damn cool too.
The animatronics work, the immersive environments, and even that fricking drop make this attraction truly something to behold. Don't listen to the haters. This thing is a wonderful piece of artistic genius that more than has my endorsement. Come on and roll down by the bayou whenever you can.
Dang, that was fun. Anywho, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time for more mockery and tomfoolery.
How do you get out of the garbage chute?
I have my ways.
So, where's Dork and Marissa? I asked everyone not Chip to show up.
Knowing those two, probably flying down the engineering bay.
Where's Tendo, Stony? Don't they usually make calls like this? Also, what do you mean by chipped?
I think it's time to come clean. Car Twist installed a mole aboard this ship. An agent of hers who started utilizing mind-controlled ships on us to get us at each other's throats. Aboleth was the first victim, who attacked Tendo and I when we were together, soon followed by Nami. Tendo and I were pleading the case to find out who this mole was. Sadly, Tendo fell victim not too long ago, just like the two of them beforehand.
Oh, crap.
And who's this car quiz person?
Long story, my friend. I'll show you later on YouTube.
Anyway, the reason I called everyone in is because I believe I know who's responsible. I think I found our mole.
Who is it?
Yeah, who is it?
Juliet. How'd you know about Nami?
You just told me.
Not now, but during the interrogation. We were keeping the whole situation hushed up. Yet, you somehow already knew that something had been done to Nami.
Do you know what you've done since your maid work has begun?
I didn't touch your otter friend. Just doing my work. I comprehend.
That's too simple. She was all over the ship given her job. She might have overheard when you were attacked or something.
True, but there are two other things that all made this fall into place just a bit too cleanly.
Her name starts with a J, not an M. And she wears a black maid dress, not white.
Not in the fringe. It's white as ever. Also, I don't think Tendo was spelling out a name. Her name is either 5 letters or 8 letters. It would be a lot quicker to easily spell out 4. And they were in a time crunch till they lost them free will to that chip.
Your role in the crew, the maid.
Why? Why make me do this?
Talk now.
I didn't have a choice.
Bullshit!
I was made for this. Mom, she left me no choice. No matter how much it hurts to betray you all. The people who treated me so kind and invited me into this crew, making me feel welcome and respected. I couldn't disobey her orders.
Permission to take her to the brig.
Yup.
Not so fast. I'm disappointed in you, Juliet. Your brothers would be ashamed of you for your utter failure.
Mother, no, please. Betraying them was already too much, please.
You had your chance, and you failed. Now, let Mother show you how it's done.
What the? Hey! Oh, wait. Asha, help me!
Oh, and by the way, your friends, Dorka and Marissa, they were already chipped and sent down to the brig while all of you were up here. My slaves, get them.
I'll hold them off. Run!
Yup.
All right. Come at me.
Greetings, explorers. Please take the time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notifications for when new videos come out. If you'd like to support our adventures, you can check out our Patreon or purchase merch from the link below in the description. Thank you for watching, and have a magical day.